Hi everyone, welcome to my stop on the Craft Collab Christmas in July video hub. For my project today, I'm going to create an inlay scene card featuring the Avery Elle Christmas Magic stamp set. I'm starting out by stamping my images, and for that I'm using the Mini Misty to help me, and I've got a piece of Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock in there, and then I'm going to use the Memento Tuxedo black ink to stamp those out. These are both Copic friendly, and I'm going to use my Copic markers to color in all of the images. I do like to stamp out my images a couple of times since this is a brand new stamp that I've never used. And in order to get a nice dark outline, I like to stamp them out a couple of times. I'm going to start Copic coloring the images, and I've sped this up quite a bit because I'm a little bit of a slow colorist, and typically I go over my images a couple of times, sometimes even 3 times, just depending what kind of a blend I'm going for. So a lot of it is cut out that is redundant, and in case you're interested of all of the Copic markers I used, I will have those linked on my blog, which I will link to down below. So while I color, I'm going to mention the hop and the giveaway. This hop is organized by Craft Collab, and we have a sponsor for this month. The sponsor for this month is the Little Paper Tree UK, and she is providing one prize of 2 Avery Elle Christmas stamp sets. The giveaway is open internationally, and the way to enter to win is to fill out the Google Forms link down below. You have until July 24th to enter, and the winner will be selected on July 25th. Now I'll finish coloring and play a little bit of music, and I will see you when I'm done. coloring finished, and I've used the coordinating dies to die cut the 3 images. To create a background for this card, I wanted to create a nighttime winter sky. And to do that, I brought in my distress inks. I've got a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock there, and I'm picking out a few of the different shades of the blue from Distress Inks. The first layer that I'm adding, that is tumbled glass, and I'm using an ink blending tool to just ink blend the bottom of my panel. Once I have a nice layer of color on there, I go in with Broken China and I ink blend that towards the middle of the panel. And again, I'm just working back and forth. I'm adding a couple of layers at a time, and then I will ink blend back out with the first color just to remove any harsh lines. For the last color that I'm bringing in, or second to last rather, that's Chip Sapphire. And then I brought in Stormy Sky, I believe, but in the end I changed my mind because there wasn't enough of a contrast between those two colors, and I wanted a more of a darker edge. So I brought in Black Soot, and I just couldn't find the distress ink in Black Soot, so I brought in the Oxide, and I feel like the Oxides, because of the formulation, they're a little bit less luminous looking. I really wanted a bold background, and that was why I chose the distress inks, but in the end it was fine. So I just continue adding more layers and building a layer by layer and blending out any harsh lines. And then I bring in one of my blender brushes to smooth out any of those harsh lines. And then I go over the entire panel, just buffing out any marks, any scuff marks, I guess they're called. And I think that background looks great. So I'm going to add a little bit of snow, and I'm using my Copic Opaque White ink. I've got a little bit of it on an acrylic block, and then I spritzed a little bit of water, and I'm just splattering some of the ink onto my background. And then I add a little more because it is winter, so why not? Then I'm using the Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle die, and I'm going to create the panel for the inlay. So I'm using the largest rectangle die to die cut the edge of that panel, and then I use one of these smaller dies to create the inlay piece. To build a little scene, I'm using a fall border dies by Craft Desert Diva, and I've die cut one of the elements with glitter cardstock, or black glitter cardstock, and then I can trim off a little bit of the extra so that I get a nice little hillside background. And then I've popped out the little areas where like the windows and the doors are, and I've just cut some gold colored cardstock so that it looks like it's lights on the inside. And then I've colored in the doors because the doors shouldn't have a glow. And I colored those in with just one of my dark Copic markers. Now I'm placing the element onto the background kind of where I think it's going to go, because I need to start figuring out where the sentiment's going to be placed. Once I've kind of arranging the elements to see what it would all look like, then I can figure out where I'm going to place the sentiment. My sentiment reads, "Believe in the magic of Christmas," and I wanted to white heat emboss that. So again, I'm using my Misty to help me line it up straight, and I've stamped it down using Versamark ink. And then I'm going to bring in some white embossing powder and add that to the sentiment, and then I can heat set that in place with my heat tool. Next, I'm going to start creating my little scene, and I've got the border. I'm putting some liquid adhesive to the panel, or to the background, so that I can add it to the panel. And then I'll just kind of make sure it's all nice and straight. And then I've got some acrylic blocks on top of those to hold them, to weigh them down. The frame that I've cut with one of the rectangle dies, I've got that popped up on some fun foam, and I really wanted some dimension, so I did double up on that fun foam before I added it to an A2 size card base. And then I can just add some liquid adhesive to my inset panel and wiggle that kind of into place until it's straight. Next, I'm going to add the focal point elements, and I've got that little light. I've trimmed it down so that it kind of fits right in that area. I've used the Nouveau Deluxe adhesive to add that into place. And then my little snowman, I'm going to pop him up on some fun foam. For him, I decide to do just one layer of fun foam. And then I can glue that right into the scene. And then my little unicorn, I've got that popped up on double foam so that it sits flush against the frame, and I'm going to add him into place, again using liquid adhesive. And then to just embellish the card a little bit, I've got these enamel hearts, and the color matches the unicorn's mane fairly well. So I thought I'd pop in a few of those over the card. And I like to put things in threes, so 3 hearts is what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to add a little bit of sparkle to a couple of those elements using the Spectrum Noir glitter overlay pen. And that will complete my card. Don't forget to hop along and see all of the holiday designs from all of our hop participants. Also, be sure to enter the giveaway before the deadline for a chance to win 2 Avery Elle Christmas stamp sets, sponsored by the Little Paper Tree UK. I will have all of that information linked down below. As always, thank you so much for supporting video creators like myself through these hops. Your comments and likes are very appreciated. And if you do like the content I create, please consider subscribing to my channel. Good luck on the giveaway, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.